Good morning. It is a point of pride whenever I have an opportunity to promote a police officer in our department. In fact, it symbolizes the fact that they have risen within the ranks, they've earned the opportunity, and they received that honor in front of their friends and in front of their families. And that's why I'm standing with the very officers that I've had the opportunity and honor to promote, some more than once. In fact, we are standing in solidarity to let everyone know that these promotions must stand. That if, for some reason, these individuals have to retake the test and were demoted as a result, it would essentially upend our organization. It would disrupt our department, and most, I guess, critically, it could compromise public safety in the city of Paterson. And the last thing we want to do, since we've made so many strides as a department, is put any Paterson resident in peril. So once again, I want to let everyone know we are a united front. You have members of the municipal council, you have my administration, and of course, our police department. And at this time, I want to call forward the president of the PBA, Angel Jimenez. Thank you, Angel. You can applaud for him, please.
Thank you, Mayor, for the support. The reason why that the union decided to take on this fight is back during the consent decree, when they threw out the list, it really affected a lot of the minorities in the department. Unfortunately, the following exam that we were able to take was the 2019 exam. And these same minorities that got promoted off that list, civil service is saying, oh, we made a mistake. Even though you followed the rules, they took the test, they did everything they were supposed to do. Because of mistakes that they made, they decided, no, we're going to throw out that list and we're going to make you guys take the test again. We feel that the actions that civil service has taken against us is a punitive measure. The original 15 plaintiffs that have challenged the 10 questions were Paterson officers and Newark officers. Because they were successful, if you notice from the remedy that they came up with, they're only affecting the Paterson and Newark police departments. I've had conversations with some officials who claim that they're just trying to help minorities, but as you can see in this room, half of the bosses that are affected are minorities. Our Newark brothers and sisters couldn't be here today because they're joining in on the lawsuit. We just feel that enough is enough. We have to take action. We cannot allow civil service to put their fingers on the scales of these exams and affecting our lives and also affecting the safety of our community. So, for that, if you guys have any questions, we have our attorney here, Valerie Palmer. Valerie?
Thank you, Angel. Yeah. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
So what action do you take other than symbolically standing in solidarity? Is there any, litigation or anything like that that can take place?
Yes, we filed an appeal with the appellate division on the basis that the civil service decision was arbitrary and capricious and against the weight of substantial evidence. Also, the due process of all of these people were violated. They were never part of the original appeal. They never received notice that anybody filed an appeal which could affect their rights. We have 106 individuals from Paterson and Newark police departments that may get demoted as a result of this civil service decision. This is catastrophic. It will cause a complete breakdown in the chain of command in two of this state's biggest cities, and it simply cannot be allowed to happen.
You have your appeal filed. I see it says the test to be about February is the target. Are you expecting to hear back a decision before then?
We asked for civil service to issue a stay of their decision, which means pause everything until the appellate division rules. I have not received confirmation from civil service that they will issue that stay, nor has it been denied. I believe civil service was going to consider it this week. Obviously, I'll be following up with them.
And for those who might just be seeing this for the first time, could you explain the nature of these exam questions and why they were, and what the controversy was, so to speak?
Sure. So civil service issued an exam, and then afterwards, they unilaterally decided to throw out the last 10 exam questions. They said somehow those last 10 questions might have been prejudicial towards minorities. So 15 people challenged that and said, we answered all of the questions, we are minorities, and you're harming us by throwing out those last 10 questions. That appeal worked its way through the courts, and ultimately Civil Service recently, just in November, said, okay, well, we're just going to throw out the whole test from 2019 and make everyone in Paterson and Newark retake it. There's a few issues with that. First of all, like I mentioned earlier, the 106 people who I represent now were not parties to that original appeal. They were never noticed that they may end up demoted as a result of this. Additionally, Civil Service said only Paterson and Newark had to retake the test, but that test was statewide. So if there is a problem with the exam, it should be either everyone in the whole state who has to retake it, or only the 15 original appellants. You can't cherry pick which other people have to retake the exam if it's not going to be everyone. Thank you, everybody.
You said 106, that's so 31 Paterson and 75 Newark?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
I want to dovetail on what Valerie was saying earlier relative to the operation here in the police department. You're talking about highly sensitive positions. So if these individuals were reassigned, demoted, they have a certain level of expertise that they were able to garner in those positions. So you'd be losing that dearth of knowledge and expertise if you were to disrupt the department and upend the operation. But I would like to hear from our end, gentleman who's been leading the charge for the administration, our corporation counsel, Eamon Abushi.
Thank you, Mayor. In consultation with the mayor and the unions, the city sent a legal correspondence to Civil Service asking Civil Service for two things. To one, reconsider its decision, or two, if it's going to maintain its decision, fashion a remedy that doesn't upend the order, the experience, and impact public safety in Paterson. And so they've received that, they've taken it under advisement, and will be getting back to us shortly. One of the other things that I asked Civil Service to do is to make sure that the unions are represented in this matter, because the unions are representative of our police officers, both PBA and SOA, and to make sure that the unions have a seat at the table as they discuss these things that affects the union, that affects the rank and file, and come up with a remedy that will work for all. As the mayor said, if this decision stands now and the city was forced to implement it, we would likely pursue legal action in order to protect the rights of our officers and the safety of our citizens. But we would also be in a position of having to demote and reorganize the entirety of the leadership of the police department, which would, I submit, would be catastrophic. So thank you, Mayor, for giving me the opportunity. I want to also thank Councilman Velez and Alex Mendez for being here as well, and as always, the support of the council, and recognize OIC, who first contacted, actually second after Jimenez contacted me about this issue, and the city will continue to support our members and do everything we can to stop this injustice from occurring. Thank you.
Thank you, Eamon. We appreciate your leadership. Also would like to hear from the SOA President, Lieutenant Chris Benevento. Please, Chris.
I'd like to say thank you to President Jimenez for assisting myself in running this ordeal with Valerie in the city. I'd like to mention something that seems to be a little dismissed or not intentionally, is the impact on the city is huge on the leadership and the staff and public safety. But what I think people fail to see is the impact on the personal lives of these officers, these supervisors, these lieutenants that are potentially going to be captains because they just tested also. The impact that can have on their home life. These officers have mortgages, children, all that were obtained after they made the rank of sergeant, lieutenant, and possibly captain. If they are demoted, their lives can be thrown into complete disarray, lose their mortgages, lose their houses, their children, possibly divorces. That's uncalled for, and it's uncontested, and we cannot allow this. That's all I have to say. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Lieutenant. And earlier I alluded to the fact that there are officers, as a result of 2019 or since 2019, they've been promoted not once but twice. And one of them I'd like to hear from as our last speaker. He was promoted to sergeant and then later lieutenant, and that's Mr. Troy Allen. He's very eager to speak.
On the spot. How you doing? I was put on the spot. I don't have anything to say. Basically, again, I'm gonna piggyback off, I believe, what the PBA president said. I think I speak for everybody in this room. We don't know why the last 10 questions was taken away. it's no race bias. It was in regards to, I think the last 10 questions was in regards to the Attorney General guidelines, and it's pretty much cut and dry. And anybody that ever studied the books, everybody that's in this room is bosses, it's black and white with the Attorney General guidelines. It's, you know, it says one thing, and if you know the answer, and that's pretty much it. And at that time, that's pretty much all I have to say. We just don't know why the 10 questions was taken, so. If you guys have any questions, I could easily.
So when you first heard that, you know, of this news, I mean, what did it do to you? What did it feel like?
So.
Well, he texted me first. That's what it was.
You owe me some money. So I think when we all first heard it, when you start studying for a sergeant's test, you know, you're trying to establish a foundation. And that foundation, when you're trying to study 3 books, it takes a lot. Because you don't really know nothing about the law in depth. You know, all you know is about is in the academy, you know, your basic, you know, law and how to charge. When you're starting to study for a sergeant's test, you have to go in depth. You have to really know the law to another extent. So what I mean by that, everybody in this room lost summers in studying. I mean, it was that much work put into it. You take time away from your families, time away from your kids. But ultimately, the ultimate goal is to get promoted. When that happens, you know, obviously it's detrimental to everybody, because basically you're saying, well, forget about what you just did that whole summer. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much it. Have any more questions?
To that point then about taking away summers now, right? It would almost kind of be forced as a cram session now, right? If you have to retake this back into February, no?
Yes, I mean, we're pretty much, I think, again, I'm speaking for everybody in the room. Are they quizzing us off of 2019 laws or all the laws that just changed? Because everybody knows these books come out every year in the law enforcement handbook. You know, nothing's the same from 19 to 20, and right now we're in 25. There's been so much added laws that's been put in those books. You know what I mean? So what are we doing with that? And I just want to add something. So they said that we're provisional. From my understanding, when you're provisional, you got to be told that you're provisional, right? So, and then you only could be provisional up to a year. Everybody in this room been bosses over 3 years, some more. So there was no thought process, you know, and to the decision that they made. So, just another thing.
Have you heard from any officers and sergeants, lieutenants over at Newark? I don't know if you have, you know.
I haven't, I believe, our
I
PBA
have.
president, our
I
SOA
have.
president.
Yeah, we've been in contact with them.
I think they feel the same way.
Absolutely.
You know, because across New Jersey, again, especially civil service towns, not chiefs towns. Civil service towns, you have to put in the work to study. It's not, oh, okay, we like you, we're going to promote you. No, you have to know those books. And that's just how it is. And it's highly competitive in North Jersey City, Paterson, you know, especially three of the largest cities, and 2 being in, you know, problematic with this situation right now.
And promotion day is worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what the mayor added to it.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think Lieutenant Allen's an excellent example. Since 2019, he's been promoted twice, sergeant, lieutenant, and if I'm not mistaken, you're ready to be a captain, right?
I'm trying.
I'm looking forward to swearing him in as a captain. And just, everyone raised salient points, but what really stood out is what you said. When you're studying for these examinations, it curtails into family time. Like, it'll cut your family time short. Holidays. So you make the sacrifice in the spirit of service. And this would be a disservice to all those men and women that made the sacrifice. They took an oath of office to serve as a sergeant, lieutenant, maybe in some instances a captain, to help administer justice. This would be a miscarriage of justice. And so that's why we're standing in solidarity, saying that this cannot stand. Thank you very much.
Yeah, essentially what civil service is saying, all the bosses would have to retake it, and they have to hit the top 31 no matter where to keep their spot. So let's just assume the worst case scenario, they don't make the top 31, they all get demoted that day, right back to patrol. And then the mayor and the administration will have to start the agonizing process of trying to fill that spot. And you're not filling those spots overnight. It's just not gonna happen. We're always fighting with DCA for waivers, and it's a process, you know, so and that's where the public safety becomes a real issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
That's it. All right. Thank you. Thank you.